So lately, I'm hearing a lot of videos on YouTube talking about the real estate crash. Now, I don't know what they're talking about, but these people are saying things are crashing, they're getting everybody all alarmed, it's here, so on, etc. I mean, I don't know what data they're using, but when I end up punching up Fed data with the Federal Reserve, I mean, I'm looking at houses. I mean, there's certain places in the country, maybe, a small city like Austin, Texas. I don't know. I'm not there, so I can't even say if it's true, but they're saying they're like maybe down 5-10% when you look at it. I don't call that a crash. If the S&P is down 5-10%, I'm not calling that a crash. That might be a slight correction. That might be something that takes place over a period of a week or two, but like a crash is something that ruins people's lives. So using vocabulary words that don't really represent what's really going on right now, I think it's very misleading. So, when people that are 35 years old coming out saying, oh my goodness, it feels like it's 08, 09. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because in 08, 09, you're probably 20 years old. Now, if you're a baller at 35, then I get that maybe you knew what was going on when you're 20 years old. But for the most part, I'm not seeing that in some of these videos I'm seeing, and they're talking about it feels like that. Just like when I see 50-year-olds talking about it feels like the Great Depression. I'm like, really? Were you there? You're 50 years old. You're born in 1970. You don't know what it felt like in the Great Depression. Even the people that were in the Great Depression didn't know what it felt like in the Great Depression, because the people that I'm around now that lived through the Great Depression, they're like 6 years old, 7 years old. And, 6 or 7 years old in 1930, as an immigrant, you were poor already. So when the Great Depression came, you really didn't know that there was a Great Depression going on. You just knew you were living like the way you were living the day before. There was no difference. I mean, mom and dad still suffered. Mom and dad still had to actually go out of work every day and get whatever little food scraps that they can get. It wasn't that easy either way. So, when somebody that's 50 years old in today's present world has no clue what it was like back in 1930, including me. I mean, you take somebody 35 years old and they're saying they know what it was like in 08, 09. Did they realize that the government didn't allow you to short in 08 or 09? I mean, that was kind of annoying for someone that's in our game. There's a lot of things that happen that unwind during those period of times. You didn't know what it was like to have a company that's been around for 150 years all of a sudden go out of business when you woke up in the morning, or Bear Stearns go out of business. You didn't have that happen yet. So when it feels like 08, 09, I'm like, from what? Silicon Valley Bank? From Republic Bank? I'm like, that happened a year ago, that the Fed stepped in immediately. There was no repercussion in the culture at all. But when the market falls like 10% in a day, then maybe tell me, oh, you know what, this is probably what 08 or 09 felt like back then. So I don't know whether or not these people made any moves for the past 3 or 4 years since they're talking about a real estate crash, but there's things to do even when real estate's maybe going to crash. Because again, if you saw the equity market over the past, I don't know, 2-3 years, it's up 30%, something. I'm not going to come up with data right off the top of my head, but I'm up quite a bit. And like, if you look at what's happening this year alone, I think I'm up. Well, again, I was up 10-11%, but it got taken back in a recent pullback we just had. So I'm like, but still, I'm still. So what do you do? Just sit around? Yeah, okay, buy gold, fine. If you want to buy in gold, yeah, for sure. And again, it's up 20% this year. I know, but like, did you just start buying this year, so then all of a sudden you're in at the top? I mean, if that's what you want to be doing, but where were these people like going back 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago? It's kind of difficult for me to take this information serious, and I'm just warning the people out there. Be careful about taking this information serious. I think the information that you should be taking serious is that just be prepared no matter what. Always have a certain amount of money that you can have access to. Always end up being in some type of physical condition. Always maybe teaching your wife how to rack a pistol. Maybe, would it be a skill to learn during this period of time? Learn how to sleep in a mummy bag. Did you ever sleep in a mummy bag? Just in case, God forbid, the electricity goes out for 2 or 3 days, maybe 2 or 3 months. I don't know. They are saying the end of the world is coming. I know it. And you know what? There are maybe ways of life that we're used to that may be coming to an end. I don't know. I can't see the future, but when I get online and that's all I see is that everybody's talking about what's happening in the future, I always think of this book that I read some time back, and I use it as sort of my credence. And it says, nobody knows anything. And I love that saying, nobody knows anything. If they did, they wouldn't be on YouTube videos, because they're all trying to shill for some money. I'm doing this because this is what I want to help, if I can help people, and this is what I thought I would enjoy doing. And I think I can maybe give some information. So what's actionable right now? Learn how to sleep in a mummy bag. Learn how to shoot a pistol. I don't know, maybe have some emergency money around. Actually get in some type of shape. 10% of what you earn is yours to keep. Work an extra job so you could put some money away. All these different things are just preparatory things that you should be doing in your life in general, just to be a human being, instead of like always going out and maybe I don't know, going to the mall to get women's phone numbers or something like that, or sitting in a cafe on your computer doing something nonsensical. I have no idea what all these people are doing. I'm sure they're doing work at home type of stuff, but that's cool. But are they prepared? I don't know. So in other words, I'm just putting this out there because there's so many YouTube videos out there saying that they know what's going on and what it feels like, and I'm telling you, I don't think they do. But either way, be prepared, and hope that helps a little bit. Thank you.